Irashaimase! Hello and welcome to Fitaurus' Kitchen. I'm your host, Chef Fitaurus. It's time once again for Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and on the menu this Saturday, we've got Gunstar Heroes for the Sega Genesis. Gunstar Heroes is Treasure's first title. It's their debut title back after they split off from Kami, released back in 1993. So what kind of taste will this awesome run and gun shoot 'em up go and have? Let's get cooking and find out. Alright, here we are at the start screen of Gunstar Heroes, or at least the best equivalent we can go and get for it. I'm going and playing this one on the PlayStation Network Sega Vintage Collection version of Gunstar Heroes. So, it does go and provide some nice options for emulation, but as far as the start screen and the opening game cinematics, the only way to go and view them full screen is to go and actually be doing so while adjusting the full screen, or the screen size. Otherwise, they go and play in that window there. I definitely have to go and say that for the most part it's a very serviceable port. You've got a nice how to play section, you've the ability to go and remap your controls as well as credits for the port as well. It also goes and gives you the option to go and play single player or multiplayer, which is what I'm going to go and be doing today. You can either do local couch co-op or you can go and do online co-op, which is a really great feature. And for a game like Gunstar Heroes, I definitely encourage you to go and play this one co-op. I think it's a really fun one to go and tackle with somebody else. So today, rather than play the game single player like I usually do, I am going to go and be playing this one co-op. So I'm going to go ahead and start the game up with like normal difficulty. My girlfriend is going to go and be taking the second controller here. And here we go. So, real quick, this is the screen selection stage where you go and get to select your initial fire style. The free shot goes and allows you to go and run while you're going and shooting your weapon, whereas the fixed shot, once you're going and firing your weapon, you're actually fixed in place. So it allows you to go and shoot in the 8 directions you can around you very easily, but it's more tricky from a movement standpoint. I'm just going to go ahead and go a free shot. Then you get to go and pick one of the 4 weapons that you default start with. So there's the Force, which is, well, as it says at the bottom, fires rapid to a point, basically a machine gun. The Lightning fires through enemies, Chaser goes and follows enemies, so it's your homing shot, and then the Fire is, well, a flamethrower. Effective, but close range. I'll go ahead and take the Force just for, just because it's a good all-around weapon, and my partner's gone and picked the Chaser. We're going to go ahead and start with the first stage. You actually have the ability to go and select 4 stages here to go and progress through the game in. You've got the Ancient Ruins, the Mines, the Airship, or I guess Flying Battleship, sorry, and the Dice Palace. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Ancient Ruins, where we're going and battling the Empire's General Pink. And they're attacking the natives! Save them! The natives happen to go and be a whole bunch of like little pygmy guys. Alright, so this is Gunstar Heroes. It's a run and gun shoot 'em up, so, you know, we're running, we're gunning. We do also have a couple other options aside from just our weapons to go and attack as well. There's a slide attack that we can go and use. It doesn't go and do a whole lot of damage, but it does go and throw enemies around. If we get close to the enemies, we can go and throw them, or we also have the option to body slam enemies as well, which is riskier, but it deals some pretty good damage. So, in addition to the weapons that you go and start with in Gunstar Heroes, it's possible to go and pick up other weapon power-ups as you go along. You can go and carry 2, so in addition to each weapon's single variant, and then they're like double combined, and then all the other combinations, you have a total of 14 different weapon combinations that you could go and be rolling with. Which is great. I mean, you know, some of them are just powered up versions of the same shot that you're going and using by default, but it definitely goes and provides for a lot of variety in playstyle. Now, this is a treasure title, like the original treasure title, I should say, and as is the case, it's chock full of bosses. You get bosses. That was my bad. I wasn't like paying attention to the incoming slug. There are bosses like strewn throughout the stages. or like done in boss rushes at the end of stages, depending on which stage you're in. So this stage goes and has multiple bosses throughout the course of it, and then some others will go and have more of like boss rush style stages, and then we've got let's see, the final stage in particular is one that goes and comes to mind as one that pretty much is just an entirely boss rush. You're going and faced with a whole stream of bosses to go and battle throughout the course of it. Alright, so as we go and move along, now, Treasure, this was their debut title after they went and broke away from Konami. I believe the vast majority of the Treasure group was from... I'm not sure like specifically what division of Konami, but of course they're the ones like responsible for titles like the Gradius and the Life Force, Proteus, all of that stuff was kind of their work, and as the time would go on, they would go and work as contractors or for Konami, going and developing like Gradius 5 and a few other titles for them as well. Alright, we're now to our second boss, Bravo Man. It also goes and gives you a quick description of what they go and do. Oh, so I did mention the throwing attack earlier. One thing you can go and do is you can go and throw your teammate as a way to go and deal damage. It actually is pretty effective. But you have to go and be careful because you can't go and like take damage depending on the enemies that you're going and dealing with. As far as damage is concerned, Gunstar Heroes, rather than go and have a one hit and that's it style of combat, or even a couple hits, gives you vitality. I want to go and say, we'll just go and call it a meter, where you go and have a set amount of vitality at the start of the stage, then as you go and take hits, that vitality goes down. But it's also possible to go and get heart icons dropped from these flying duck quack things to go and replenish your health. Some enemies, when you go and defeat them, will also go and drop health, just like there. So in the background here, we're going and being attacked by Pink's main mech, the Pinky Rotor, with Hitman Shot and Iron Knuckle. There's Pink going and showing off the gem that she goes and has in her possession. I will go and be a pincushion for all these lasers. So the game's plot, you go and play as Gunstar Red or Blue, depending on which controller you are, and you're trying to go and stop the Empire from going and collecting these 4 power gems that have the ability to go and awaken this evil force named Gold and Silver. Let's see if I can get to the other side here. So that's the primary plot, is we're just going and trying to save the world by preventing the evil empire from going and awakening this destructive force that they mistakenly go and believe will go and lead them to this incredible utopia. Alright, stage clear. We're blasting off again! Sorry, I couldn't resist that. It just looks too much like the Team Rocket Pokemon going and getting flung off into space. Alright, here we are with the Underground Mine. So in this one, the final boss will go and be the Gunstar Red and Blue's brother, Gunstar Green, who's been brainwashed by the enemy. Or just lost his memory, I'm not quite sure which. A lot of it goes and depends on which version of the story you're going and reading, the Japanese one or the English. Since there are minor differences in both stories, interestingly enough. So the minecart stage goes and changes things around a little bit in the way that you go and move and control your character. So rather than just running around now, we're going and running around on these minecarts that have the ability to go and jump between the roof of the mine and the floor, or, as we go and see up here, the left or right sides of the mine's walls. So as I was going and mentioning, it's possible to go and combine together weapons to go and get different versions of the, or rather different powers and different weapons. So the two we're rolling with right now is I'm going and running with double force for a really powerful machine gun effect, and my partner's going and using the lightning and chaser for the really powerful, probably the best weapon in the game, the homing beam attack. It doesn't go and necessarily go and deal as much damage as some of the other ones, but at the same time, the ability to go and start attacking the enemies as soon as they even appear on screen is huge. Being able to take out all these hordes of poor Imperial troops that really don't have a prayer against us. You kind of have to feel sorry for the guys on the little minecarts. The ones in the trains probably have it so much better. You know, they can go and duck down. They don't have to go and get shot by us right away. But then they have the foolishness to go and poke up their heads, and, well, bad news for them. Though, I have to wonder, what's happened here? Oh, there we get our first glimpse of the Empire's second in command, Smash Daisaku, or M. Bison. That's totally who he looks like. Major props to this guy right here. If he can go and like keep up with us on our minecarts and this train, that is an impressive feat. Good luck, dude. May you go on to go and run marathons in your life. Alright, and now we're to the boss of the stage, Green, and his awesome mech, the 7 Force, which is actually 7 bosses, and depending on which difficulty setting you're on, you'll go and play, or you'll have to fight multiple sets of the form. So on easy, you'd be playing against 3 forms, on hard, you're playing against 5 forms, and, or rather, on normal it's 5 forms, and on hard, you have to go and battle all 7 forms of the 7 Force. So we'll be going up against 3, or rather 5 random, somewhat random. I guess you always go and start with mech form first, and then it just goes from there. And each form goes and has several different attacks that they can go make use of. So, for here so far, it seems like, oh, he's going and using his boomerang attack. Now he's using his fist attack. I jumped right into that. Alright, first form down. Now we've got this spinny crabby thing, which bounces around at the top of the screen until it picks a side that it's going to go and run down on. You don't want to be there when it goes and comes across, otherwise you'll be in a world of hurt. Then once we deal enough damage to it, it'll go into, ouch, I got caught there. It'll go into a second form where it goes and fires beams at us, but this form's pretty easy to go and take out. You just go and avoid the shots, pump it full of lead, and before you know it, we're on to our third form. This time we get a pistol, and it's like simple as it is. It just goes around like aiming at one of the two of us, going and trying to kill us. I'm doing a terrible job of dodging those shots. But, fortunately, it has to go and reload, and that's our chance to go and do some massive damage to it. Alright, 3 down, 2 to go. I'm not even sure what this one's called, but this one sucks. You can go and deal pretty heavy damage quickly, and its patterns are pretty unpredictable. Come on, you know you want to just open up to us with your shot. Yep, just like that. Again? I totally misread that one. Fortunately, it wasn't as bad as it could be, because that one's probably his weakest attack. And we're on to the final form. This is the crab form, which goes and sends almost these like Battletoad-like walls our way that we have to dodge. And 500, 400, 100, defeated. Alright, that'll go and wrap up stage 2. 7 Force and Gunstar Green taken down. Well, I guess at this point he's not necessarily known as Gunstar Green, just simply Green. And we go and get his gem now. Alright, normally I would go and say that we'd go and wrap it up for my video, but I want to go and show a little bit of the Dice Palace before I go and call it good as well, since this is one of the most unique and fun stages that's present in the game, or maybe frustrating is another good way to go and describe it. Another quick note, as you go and play the stages, you go and get 20 more vitality after defeating each stage. So the order you go and play the stages in could go and be an important consideration in your gameplay. Let's go ahead and just blast our way through these guys. I wouldn't really go and call this guy much of a boss, but he does go and have a meter and a cannon and a whole bunch of like guys that are bear hugging me. So, we have to go and battle past these hordes of enemies, but once we go and get into the Dice Palace itself, that's where things go and get interesting. We'll just go and fit in. Is that one powerful... Ooh. I'll go ahead and take it. Here we are at Black's Dice Palace. Now, it actually is... Well, I guess it's like Black's base. So you actually go and do this if you're going and playing 2-player, one at a time. And whoever goes and rolls the die is the one that goes and moves. And you move the number of spaces around on that board, the number of rolls you go and take. And in most spaces, you're going to get a boss fight. Awesome job. Alright, my turn. Bing, bing, bing. Player 1, throw the dice. Come on, 3. Nope, 1. Player 1, throw again. Alright, I got a 2 this time. Who do I go and draw? I got Timeron, destroy the core. Alright, this one's actually a little bit tricky, because you have a set amount of time to go and destroy it, and as things go and progress, it starts to go backwards. Then it'll go and repeat itself. And done. That could have been a little bit better. Returned. So depending on your luck with the die, it might actually go and take quite a while to go and get through this Dice Palace. But, and towards the very end, there's a space that goes and sends you back to the very beginning. So if you had good luck... Oh yeah, so not all of the spaces are actually boss fights. Some of them are something a little bit different, like mazes you have to go and get through, or... There's some where you have to go and beat enemies to like the goal, that sort of thing. Alright, let's see if I can go and get a 3 as well. Come on, player 1! Nope, just a 2. I drew the Minion Soldier. Oh no. Don't be... yeah, definitely don't go and, deceived by this guy's size. He's brutal. He's killing me. Killing me dead. Uh-oh. Now there's like 4 of them. I'm still gonna die. Woo! And safe. I've got 9 vitality left, but yay! I took down the minion soldier. Oh yeah, if you're not happy with how the dice looks like it's about to go and fall, you can go and throw it again until it finally goes and settles. Melon bread. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with melon pond, but when I go and think of melon pond, this is not what comes to mind. This is, in my mind, some sort of crazy, demented nightmare, not melon pond. Alright, is there any kind of saving grace for me? No, not really. If I can go and make it to the taken item, I have a chance at survival, but... Oh, well. Nope, I still... No way I can go and roll a 4, so... Wish me luck! Pit, destroy them all. What is this? I don't even... Well, I'm not quite sure how I managed to go and avoid taking damage there, but I'll take it. I'm still alive. Oh, I get it. It's supposed to be the ball pit. Nope, I took damage. Alright, that's game over for me. Well, on that rather legacy sad note, I think I'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday. I want to thank you so much for going and coming out and joining me. Gunstar Heroes is a great title, and with how available it is, it's been released on virtually everything out there. You know, it came out originally on the Genesis, then the Game Gear. It's available on the Virtual Console, Xbox 360, Steam, PlayStation 3, iOS. I highly recommend going and giving this game a try if you've never gone and played it before. Anyway, if you have any suggestions for other shoot-em-ups you'd like to go and see me feature on the channel or other games in general, please leave those in the comments below. And thank you so much for coming out and joining me for this week's episode of Shoot 'em Up Saturday, and I hope to go and see you again next week.